10. Best WWE Women's Champions ever, ranked by their entrance. There have been some iconic women's champions in WWE, and much of what makes them so great is in their presentation. It goes without saying that women's wrestling has grown by leaps and bounds over the last couple of decades. Throughout that process, WWE has produced some of its biggest and most compelling stars with the women's division. There have been some iconic women's champions in WWE, and much of what makes them so great is in their presentation. A key factor in any superstar's presentation is their entrance. Here's how the 10 best WWE women's champions in history are ranked, based solely on their entrance. 10. The Glamazon always made a striking impression. Beth Phoenix is still one of the most physically intimidating women in WWE history. Beth was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2017. Beth Phoenix has what some like to call physical charisma. Her physique, coupled with her in-ring ability, made her a standout during an era when there weren't many serious female competitors. Dubbed as the Glamazon, Beth's entrance was simple but effective, as it captured her personality and accentuated her drawing points. She would gesture a sort of illusory crown over her head and pose in a subtle way that would highlight her impressive arms. Her music was also subtle, but suited her character and was instantly recognizable. 9. AJ Lee skipped her way into greatness on the way to the ring. AJ was undersized but managed to be an effective heel throughout most of her WWE run. Though she hasn't been on WWE television in a decade, AJ is still fondly remembered by fans as an all-time great. Her record-breaking title run would last just shy of a year when she was hastily upset by Paige the night after WrestleMania 30. Her entrance, while memorable and idiosyncratic, was a bit of a one-note somber. She would simply skip to the ring, playing into her reputation for being a bit unhinged. AJ Lee ranks on this list, partially due to the fact that she was the bridge from an era of divas to the women's revolution. 8. Stratusfaction guaranteed. Trish Stratus has only seemed to get better with age. Trish was a fitness model prior to signing with WWE. Some consider Trish to be the greatest women's wrestler of all time. Trish recently returned and feuded with Becky Lynch, receiving rave reviews for her performances. Some may be surprised to see Trish ranking at 8 on this list, but this about entrances, not overall skill and accolades. Trish always brought a lot of energy to the ring with her, but there wasn't much pomp and circumstance for someone who is considered to be the greatest of all time by many. She did switch up her approach when she was a heel, adding a bit of hubris to her entrance, but it always felt a little low-key for whatever reason. It didn't help that the intro section of her theme music is mixed a bit low, not exactly blowing the roof off the arena when it hit. Nevertheless, Trish not only set the bar for modern women's wrestling, she helped create it. 7. Bayley is one of the most respected women in wrestling today, the ultimate workhorse of the four horsewomen. Bayley made the world take notice of her along with Sasha Banks when they stole the show at one of the early NXT PPVs. Bayley was heavily influenced by the legendary Randy Savage. Bayley won her first Royal Rumble in 2024. We've seen Bayley's entrance evolve from the hugger gimmick to more of a no-nonsense approach when she turned heel. While her original entrance was bombastic and eye-catching, replete with wacky inflatable men, it only seemed to resonate with a portion of the audience. After she turned heel, Bayley would adopt a more deliberate entrance, never missing an opportunity to see that the audience, who she felt never gave her the proper respect. Funny enough, Bayley has recently turned babyface, yet we still haven't seen the return of the inflatable props, and we likely won't. Bayley may have sacrificed the more colorful entrance, but in turn, she has finally gotten the respect she deserves. 6. Becky Lynch exudes star appeal with her entrance. The man comes around. Becky's original presentation was influenced by steampunk culture. Becky was one of the first women to main event WrestleMania. Becky recently released her autobiography, The Man, Not Your Average Girl. Much like Bayley, Becky Lynch's first entrance was considerably more energetic than her current one. We've seen Becky evolve since her debut, as she's gone through a few major character shifts. It took a bit for her to find herself, but when she became the man, she hit the jackpot. Nowadays, Becky always brings a little something different to her entrance based on the occasion and her opponent. It's her mic work that has truly gotten her over, as well as her fighting spirit and never say die attitude. Her theme music is still adrenaline-inducing, but truth be told, she could possibly benefit from an updated theme, as she used her current one for the better part of a decade. 5. The Est of WWE knows how to make an entrance. Bianca Belair is one of the most distinctive women on the entire WWE roster. Bianca Belair debuted on the main roster at WrestleMania 36. She would main event WrestleMania 37 the following year. Bianca and her husband Montez Ford recently debuted their new reality show, Love and WWE. Bianca Belair was tapped as a star in waiting during her time in NXT, and it's safe to say she has fulfilled that prophecy. She is one of only 5 women in history to main event WrestleMania, and one of only 2 to do so in a singles match. Bianca pumps the crowd up with her entrance, with a hair-whipping sound effect, followed by her doing a Hebdrid skip-a-gallop to the ring. It has been highly effective, as younger fans absolutely adore her. She has been criticized for never changing her demeanor to suit the occasion, which keeps her from ranking a bit higher on this list. 4. Rhea Ripley has fully embraced her goth metal persona. Mommy always establishes her dominance upon entry. Rhea Ripley is the only NXT Women's Champion to ever defend her title at WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley is one of the founding members of Judgment Day. Rhea is only in her late 22nd. Rhea Ripley is not only one of the biggest female stars in the WWE, she's one of the biggest stars, period. She currently sits atop the Raw roster as the Women's Champion, and she is about to come up on her 1-year anniversary with that title. Rhea's entrance is intense and foreboding. She establishes her dominance by lifting her foot and forcefully bringing it down, prompting an explosion of pyro. She also has one of the better theme songs in WWE that embodies and enhances her character. 3. Lita is one of the pioneers of the women's division. Lita's love, fury, passion, energy. Lita made her debut in ECW. Lita was a member of Team Extreme with Matt and Jeff Hardy. Lita was inducted into the WB Hall of Fame in 2014. The real-life Amy Dumas didn't exactly enter the wrestling business with a bang, but her star rose rather quickly. She would go on to become one of the most groundbreaking women in WWE history, thanks in particular to her legendary rivalry with Trish Stratus. With a character such as Lita, it was imperative to find an entrance that matched her fiery and magnetic personality. They struck gold with Boy Hit Car's Love, Fury, Passion, Energy, which perfectly sets the tone for Lita's rebellious vibe. Her mannerisms are rather simple on her way to the ring, but she always manages to wake the crowd up. 2. Sasha Banks was a natural showwoman. The boss knew how to make an entrance. Sasha Banks was considered to be one of NXT's 4 horsewomen. She is one of only 2 women to defend her title in the main event of a WrestleMania. She now competes as Mercedes M1 in AEW. When you're a relative of Snoop Dogg, you likely have a natural affinity for showmanship. Also, when you call yourself the boss, you should probably establish that upon your entrance to the ring. Sasha Banks always made her entrances feel like an event unto themselves. What made Sasha's entrances so special is that she always did something novel to suit the occasion. From cosplaying to having her famous uncle wrap her to the ring, to coming out in a Hummer, Sasha always reminded us why she was one of the biggest stars in the women's division. Charlotte Flair is the most decorated women's wrestler in WWE history, an entrance fit for a queen. Women like Beyoncé and Taylor Swift are polarizing due to the fact that they have reached such an extraordinary level of success that they take on sort of an omnipresence. Charlotte Flair is the Beyoncé and/or Taylor Swift of the WWE. She is the queen, and her entrance can only be fitting of that sort of royalty. Everything from her song to her cadence and her wardrobe leaves no question as to how big of a star she is. She looks the part and she walks it as well, placing her firmly at the top of this list.